Recording. So, hi, good morning. My name is Andrea Bachi. I am the program director and faculty at Wake Tech Community College for our interior design department.
Awesome. Hello and good morning. Again, this is Miss Baker. I'm so excited to chat with you. I am a high school educator at North Lenore High School teaching interior design. So we're going to be having a little chat today just to kind of get to know the day in the life of Miss Andrea and just some other things about Wake Tech. So what school or training did you go to get your degree in this field?
Sure. I went to East Carolina University. They have a Bachelor of Science degree for interior design. So I initially went there to study art and journalism and studied wood design and learned like furniture making. And then found that they offered interior design and kind of just found my way over and took some classes and loved it and finished there.
All right, pirate grad. I am at East Carolina myself, working on my master's degree. So I'm with you now. I'm a pirate too.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
um,
great school. They have a lot of different focuses where I think they have really strong education. So
yes, I agree. So day in the life, like what does a day look like for you as a professor?
for me as a professor, my day, I teach a few different types of classes. So I might have a lecture class where I'm going and lecturing on specific content with students. So, like for this semester, for example, I'm teaching two different classes. One is a construction materials and systems class where we teach students about like the structural aspect of the building, and we get to go and explore a lot of different building types, and that's both residential and commercial. So the students like explore their own house and learn like what how their house is made, and we also explore the buildings here and what are the different components and how does that influence us as designers. I also teach a residential class where we learn more specifically about residential design and what makes good residential design, what about styles and trends, and we talk about the aesthetic part of our interiors, but we also talk about the functional part and how to, space plan our furniture and how to organize and lay out our kitchen and why should our cabinets and appliances go in certain configurations. Um, and then outside of that, I often am meeting with students to help them figure out, what are their next step, or if they have internship interests, how can they connect with professionals? I also connect with a lot of professionals and bring them in for different things to do field trips and to do site visits, or have them kind of help us create some different projects that the students would be engaged in. Our students do a lot of competitions, so oftentimes helping them in terms of what their finished outcome looks like and kind of that submission process for competitions. And then I also do a lot of administrative tasks for the department, like coming up with what our schedules are, what are our class schedules, what books are we going to use, and then of course grading. Right, every teacher knows there's the grading, which I love giving feedback to students and helping them learn. The grading part is a little bit more challenging, but
Yes.
yes,
I look, I think that's across the board. Any teacher listening, the grading part is the tedious one. It's fun to get
yes,
the lesson,
yes.
but then we
Yeah.
gotta grade
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's it's grading is time consuming, and can sometimes be challenging.
Yeah. And I love how you shared about the competitions because as an FCCLA advisor, I help students as well get ready for competition. And we have a student now competing for the interior design competition. And so I enjoy that process as well. So we have a lot of similarities even in different sectors. So
Yeah.
I really like that. Um, so I'm gonna jump into how did you become, well, you kind of shared that part, but I want to go into your experiences. Like, what are some standout experiences that you had in your process of becoming an interior designer and now a professor?
So in school, I did not plan to study education. I did not go to school for education. I planned to work as a designer, and when I got out into the field, I had a few opportunities in different pathways of interior design. So I worked doing historic preservation and residential initially when I got out of school. Then I transitioned over into the commercial world doing office interiors and office furniture. So the commercial environment had an opportunity through that to do like some government work as well as just some other different types of commercial design. While I was doing that, I just happened to reach out to Wake Tech about taking some software classes, and in that conversation about some offerings that they had, I found out that they wanted to start an interior design program, and that they were looking for somebody to come in and develop and create a program. And so, at this time, I had no educational background outside of me being a student. And decided that to try that challenge, right? It was something new, and it was something I was like, "Mom, should I do it?" I'm not sure even at that time, I was in my late 20s.
Mhm.
But it was scary because it was something totally unknown and foreign, and I decided to try it out and take the risk of doing something new and different. And once I got into the educational world, just found that I loved it. I loved being with students and that mentor relationship, being with people that had a creative mind and a passion for design, just like me, that were excited about learning new things and the challenge of learning new things that they're excited about, and just found that it was really a world that I felt, um, that even though there's challenges being in the
Mhm.
educational system, there was so many good aspects about, um, just about what you were involved in and the people that you were involved in. And so I really found that that was something that excited me. And I've been here for 15 years. This is my 15th year at Wake Tech. So started and,
Wow.
you know, loved it. So
Wow. So you set the foundation, you set the tone for the
yeah.
program. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
So, yeah, so I came in and, um, you know, brought in the things that I found that were great about being a student, but then also took some things that I was like, man, I wish I knew this in school or was exposed to this in school, and really tried to help model the program with those thoughts in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually one of my other questions. Like, what would you have known, like, then versus now? You know how we look retrospect, like, what was that thing for you
Yeah.
that you were like, man, I definitely have to bring that to the table at Wake Tech? What was that thing for
Yeah. So for me, when I was in school, I guess I really didn't understand so much in terms of the vendor partners and manufacturing partners that go into the creation of a design. And so I found that that part was really lacking in the education that I received. And so, really connecting to the professionals, vendors, manufacturers was really something that I felt was important to bring into our program, and that's again a huge aspect of all of the classes that we offer is
you?
developing
Okay.
that relationship and having that interwoven structure with that community.
Yes, I am all about community too. And that's a good thing, like to be able to learn your and network. And that's a great part about this field because you're going to have a level of communication and networking. So I'm going to talk to you in the respect of a student. What type of classes should I take in high school or activities should I do now to prepare for Wake Tech and my future endeavors?
So if your school offers any kind of interior design classes, that's a great starting point in terms of being exposed to the profession and exposed to a little bit to what they do and types of projects or finished outcomes that they might have to create, like finished boards, or even learning how to create some interior views of a space. Those things are great to be exposed to in school. If your school offers any kind of software. So some high schools offer like AutoCAD or Revit, or SketchUp, any of those softwares that you can be exposed to and get an introduction to in high school is great. Um, if your school offers even architectural classes, construction classes, woodworking classes, all of these pieces are interwoven and interconnected in this industry. And I think that just gives you a stronger foundation. Interior design is not its own bubble. And so I think really understanding that, you're working within a community, you're working within a building. How do pieces go together, right? That's kind of in woodworking and construction, but it's still something that interior designers have to consider and think about too.
Right. Good. Yeah. Yeah. That's another thing that the students are talking about is the pathway, being a completer in the CTE pathway. And so I was actually surprised as a family consumer science teacher that, interior design actually falls under the architecture pathway.
Hmm.
So that was like a fun fact I realized. So yeah, all of those classes are offered within our district in some capacity. So all right, we on the right track. um, so the classes, I know you mentioned earlier about classes, but I want to turn it over to you and maybe if you want to share some stuff specific to Weight Tech and student portfolios, just share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so some of our students come in and they aren't exposed to anything, and right, they're just totally starting new. We teach them about drawing, hand drawing and sketching, and some people are like, "I'm not good at art. I don't know how to draw." And I said, "That's okay. We learn techniques and we learn to practice, and the more we do something, the better we get. Just like
Mhm.
anything else, it's a skill to refine." So we teach students about that. We teach students about, and I'll share some examples that I have here. Let me see. Um let me open up. I'm gonna share this. Let me see. Can you see what's on my screen right now?
Yes.
So, so we teach our students about drawing simple things initially, right? So um, some simple kind of shapes, and we learn, or we teach them about applying color and applying different techniques. And so initially, right, it doesn't seem particularly related to design. Um, but then we get into applying patterns and applying, um, shaping it proportionally onto objects that are related into our interiors. And so our students then learn about creating different environments, whether it's inside or whether it's outside, again, kind of applying color to give a graphic by hand to a client, if they were working with a client. So again, sometimes we're working quickly to give our client something quickly, and sometimes we're working where we have a little bit longer to create kind of an aesthetic or an idea of a space or a building. We
Mhm.
also learn about, recreating finishes by hand. So in the very beginning of the time here, students learned things by hand. So they learn about creating items by hand, and then we introduce them into software. So once they're familiar with um, how to do some things by hand, we then introduce them into how to do things two-dimensionally in software. Let me see. And um, then we also teach them, let me see, how to create. This wasn't the one that I wanted. Um, how to start bringing them into some of these different softwares and pairing them so they learn, right, how to do some things by hand, which you can see here, how to draft it by hand, how to sketch by hand, and then how to bring it into some software. We teach a lot of 3D software, so they're building some models. So this center portion is all a modeling software that the student created this house. And then they also learn about finishes and pairing finishes based on certain styles. So this is kind of a good example to show kind of that sequence of a variety of steps that the students learn. Our students also learn about creating more realistic imagery, like you can see here in this image. Again, this is one of the final, an aspect of one of the final projects that our students do. But again, our students do both residential and commercial spaces, so they have the opportunity to explore both aspects. Let me see, here you can see just kind of another example. Uh, Try to fit it to the screen. Better fit. Kind of so you can see another commercial environment. Um, Sorry, trying to allow it to be fully visible, but this is an educational um, area. So again, lots of different views, elevations, floor plans, 3D views, all created in software that they explore here. Um, and I had another example, but let's see it open. But again, this just shows you, let me see, I think it's in these downloads. We also teach about construction documents because again, this is a big part of interior design is creating construction documents, whether you're talking about residential or commercial, and creating documents for somebody to build from because you're oftentimes working with a contractor or a builder and they need to know what you want, so you have to figure out how to communicate your idea in your mind and then put it onto paper so somebody who's not you can build it and make it the way that you want it. So this is just an example from our very last class, our capstone class, of the construction drawings that our students fabricate.
That's awesome. Yeah, we do. In our course here, we have all these aspects that the students are exposed to. So that's awesome. I get excited when I see the collegiate level because I'm like, okay, we're on the right track.
Yeah, you're like, you got to take baby steps to get where you want to go, right? You can't,
Mhm.
you don't just end where you want to go. There's a process and a sequence and learning. In this field, just like any other, you have to continuously learn. There's, new things coming out every day, new technologies, new software. So it's great to be excited about what you see and how you're exposed to it. Um, you know, um, if you have the opportunity to, connect with professionals and local organizations in your town and in your city, I know here in Raleigh, so many of the companies are very open to having students come and job shadow for a day. They have internships that are, for a week or for a month or for, kind of whatever. And I know several have mentioned that they have those opportunities for high school students too. So it's not just limited to, college level. So if you see a company that in your local community that does some things that you're like, wow, I didn't know that somebody right here designed this, reach out to them, see if you can job shadow them for a day. There so many people started right where you are. They were a student who was interested in design and they had to figure out their path to get where they were. So, so many of them are open to helping educate and expose the next generation to what they do and how to do it.
Yes. That's a good thing. And I really kudos to you, your students, the staff. Like that was a great work that I just saw. So I'm like, okay, students, you see, you're there, you're getting close as you keep building. So as far as like if they wanted to apply, because college application week is this month, October, and so what are some things that the students when they're applying? Are there any scholarships with Wake Tech, etc.?
Yeah, so at Wake Tech, it's easy on our web page, and let me pull that up and share that with you. One second. Sorry. Here we go here. Sorry, I mentioned I'm on like multiple screens. So if you go to Wake Tech's homepage, you can see right here that if you go to the menu, there's some opportunities for admissions. And so if you want to apply to Wake Tech, it's easy. You can do it right online. We're an open door college, so that means that anybody can apply to the school. And right in here has their pay for college link. And on this link, it's easy because they have kind of everything laid out. So they have their scholarship information in a link that you can go. The nice thing that Wake Tech offers is they have the ability to do a one-time or one application for a scholarship, and they'll try to partner it with, they have hundreds of different scholarships, and they look at the different applicants and they say, okay, this person might be a good recipient for this type of scholarship. So you fill out one application and it gets applied to or looked at in comparison with hundreds of different scholarships to see where they can try to help get you money for school. Um, so we also have some grants. We have financial aid, of course. We have work study. So if a student wants to work on the campus and have make money working on campus, they have that ability too. So in the financial aid or the paying for school link, it kind of tells you, how can I figure out the cost of attending Wake Tech? And there's an opportunity for payment plans based on kind of whatever your goal is. So it's easy to kind of find out that financial aspect and financial information. And then, of course, you can reach out. We have a few different ways in which students or potential students can reach out. We have a virtual assistant that kind of can help you walk through some things. You can always call or email to try to connect if you have some questions. So again, there's some videos that kind of also walk you through a few different things too.
Okay, that's good. Right, all in one place.
Yes, yeah, it makes it easy to kind of find what you want, what you're looking for.
Mhm. So you have a social media account as well?
We do, yeah. So for those of you interested to follow us, we are on Instagram. So it's WTCC underscore interior design. And on our Instagram page, we try to be active. We try to post student projects and kind of some things they're working on. If we have some professional organization things that we're connected to going out into industry events. We like to try to do some community service within our department, so we share that. And then, of course, we nominate our students for different awards or different activities throughout the industry. So we like to highlight our students too, so you can kind of see the student and when we highlight their work in here. So we try to share job postings. So yeah, so we try to be active. I manage our social media. I'm definitely not as active as I'd like to be, but I try to share a lot about what we're doing. And again, within our program, we connect a lot with professionals. So we try to highlight. We're out doing client presentations within our different classes or site visits or professional visit activities. So again, we try to highlight that as much as possible on our social media.
Wow. Okay. Well, we definitely gonna follow so we can stay
Yeah,
connected.
follow us, share with us, share, share if you guys are doing some stuff. We'd love to follow you back and see what you guys are up to also.
Yes. We do have. Well, we have the North Lenore FCCLA Instagram, but I do not have like a class specific Instagram. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Also, I will mention Wig Tech. We're doing our open house tomorrow. For anybody potentially interested to come and see the different programs, I'll be out there. It's here on the southern campus, which is right outside of downtown Raleigh. Um, so if you're interested to see more about the programs, more examples of work, there will be uh, a lot, you know, like 100 different programs out here sharing, what they do, get an opportunity to get some more information. So if you're interested, you guys can come check it out tomorrow, which is Saturday. Although I guess you're probably seeing this video maybe after after our open house. But we do also do student tours. So we have high schools come in and do tours sometimes. So if that's something ever that you guys were interested to come and do, you could come and visit our campus and kind of come into our classroom, see what our students are working on, get a tour of our facilities.
Okay. Well, this was great. I definitely would hope that the students would apply and go and check out Wait Tech. It's a great program, and I just appreciate your time today.
Yeah, well, you're so welcome. Thanks for reaching out to me and to your students. If you guys have questions, reach out to me. Andrea Bachi. I am the program director for interior design. So you can find me right and my contact info right on the interior design page for Wake Tech. But reach out to me, send me an email, and I'm glad to try to answer your questions and help connect you to whatever you're trying to find.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Um, let me see.